Are you curious about this tapping thing that people are doing to relieve stress and to restore emotional well-being? It's like acupuncture, but without the needles. It's a combination of acupressure and talk therapy and continues to improve lives around the world. Tapping on certain acupressure points while bringing your attention to how your emotions are physically expressed in the body is proving to be a very effective way to regulate the nervous system. It's a clinically tested technique that provides emotional, mental, and physical healing. This tapping technique is called EFT, which stands for Emotional Freedom Techniques. I created a video to show the tapping points and to give a quick demonstration. Just click on the icon at the top of the screen or on the link in the description below. So one of the common questions is, what does tapping actually do? Tapping on certain pressure points of the body sends a calming signal to the amygdala in our brain, which is the stress response center. The amygdala is always on high alert and fires off a chemical reaction in the body whenever we are faced with any kind of threat to our survival. It's like a little meerkat checking out its surroundings. The amygdala initiates a physical reaction whenever we're in harm's way in order to protect us and to keep us safe. Like when we automatically pull our hand off a hot stove, or how we run away if we're being chased. There are many chemical changes that happen when our sympathetic nervous system becomes activated. Cortisol, which is the stress hormone, is released throughout the body. Blood rushes to our extremities to give us strength and agility. Both our heart rate and blood pressure increase to send more oxygen to where it's needed. Then there's things like our digestion and logical thinking that become deactivated because we just don't have time to sit back and analyze the details of the situation when we are in immediate danger. Our faculties are focused on surviving, and it's go time. The fight, flight, freeze response is activated as soon as we believe any fearful thought that enters our mind. So, we might yell at our partner if we feel defensive in an argument, which is the fight response. Or we leave a party early if we don't feel comfortable around new people, which is the flight response. Or when our mind goes blank when we're put on the spot. This is the freeze response. So often our sympathetic nervous system or the stress response is on overdrive because so many of our thoughts stress us out. And chronic stress puts a real strain on our health. But tapping on stressful issues introduces a message of safety to our body, which is not congruent with the emotionally charged issue. So what happens is our mind is focused on something stressful, but our body starts to respond in a relaxed and calm state. When we're thinking about or dealing with these stressful issues without the tapping, the amygdala initiates the physiological reaction in our body, preparing us to fight, run, or freeze. And the stress response is vital when we are in real danger, but it can become a detriment to our health when it is only a perceived threat. The brain doesn't actually know if we are being chased by a wild animal or simply reading a stressful email at work. But the body's physiological reaction is the same in both scenarios. Tapping literally interrupts the stress response from the amygdala firing. So instead of our body going into the stress mode, our parasympathetic nervous system takes over, which is also known as the relaxation response. This interruption decouples the stressful issue from the stress response in our body. At this stage, our perception of what stressed us out begins to change because our body remains relaxed. Our mind is sending a message of danger, but our body is getting a conflicted message of safety. This changes our belief system on a cellular level. This is the healing power of the mind-body connection. And once the brain disconnects the link between the stressful event and the stress response in the body, that link usually remains disconnected forever. This explains how EFT can eliminate things like phobias and even childhood traumas. Feeling our emotions on a somatic level is one of the leading edge ways to heal stress. By that I mean noticing how whatever bothers you physically feels like in your body. For example, someone could be holding a grudge against their uncle who teased them when they were young about their weight. And by using tapping, their mindful attention points out how they physically feel whenever they think of him. Like maybe they instantly get a dull pain in their abdomen. Tapping relieves that sensation. That physical reminder is then decoupled from the memory of their uncle taunting them. And as their body relaxes, their mind becomes open to seeing things differently, which results in letting go of any emotional attachment to that story from their past. So, as an adult, when they remember their uncle's behavior from their childhood, they are no longer reacting to the memory like they did as a child who was feeling powerless and victimized, because their body is no longer giving them the physical reminder of how it felt to be in that specific situation. So that's the scientific explanation of how and why tapping works in our physiology. More importantly, there is also the energetic component that is happening. We are all electromagnetic beings. We are made up more of energy than flesh, blood, and bones. And we can experience the energy generated in our bodies, for example, when we put on a pair of socks and slide across the carpet, and then when we touch something, we get a shock. Or when our hair stands on end, also from static electricity pulsing through our system. Our energy field can also be felt when you rub your hands together to create warmth. Then focus your attention on the push and pull between your hands as you slowly move them together and apart. As I spoke about earlier, tapping on the end points of the energy meridians sends a soothing signal to the brain. This practice helps to engage our subconscious mind on an energetic level. When we hold our discomfort within our memories, our body, and our energetic field, it creates a block in the natural flow of energy within us. The meditative practice of tapping helps to quiet our busy mind and release those hidden blocks of energy that keep us from living our best life. Dawson Church, one of the leading EFT experts and clinical researchers in the field of energy psychology, explains how the energy blocks within us are like a log jam on a river. Removing the right log or logs, which are the linchpins which hold the jam in place, releases all the others so that the river can flow again with ease. Similarly, by releasing the mental and emotional linchpins from our energetic field using tapping, our flow of energy is restored into balance. EFT shifts our irrational fears and maladaptive beliefs so that clarity and well-being can resurface. So many people carry a daily burden of stress from their past and from their current situations, and even from the imagined future. Nowadays, it's so common to hear the word stress in everyday conversations. For as devastating as chronic stress is on our physical and mental health, we just don't have nearly enough information spread globally on how to properly deal with it and heal it. EFT is one of the most effective ways to completely let go of the emotional baggage we lug around, and it's truly life-changing to overcome debilitating stress and anxiety and pain and fear. This is why I started this YouTube channel, because I want to share this technique with as many people as possible. So please feel free to share my videos with friends or family. When we take full responsibility for our own emotional well-being and realize the power in teaching our mind and body to feel safe right here and now, it's incredibly self-empowering. We can't create peace from outside of ourselves by trying to change the people and circumstances around us. Peace is an inside job, and tapping is the doorway to discovering the peace that already exists within us. We just temporarily might be disconnected from it. Finding those blocks in our energetic field and releasing the stress, releasing the tension, and releasing the pain allows us to regain balance. Anyone can learn how to self-administer EFT, and for the more chronic or traumatic issues, it's best to reach out to a trained EFT practitioner who can guide you to your healing. But please know that the emotional release that happens from tapping can only happen when you are an active participant in the process. Nobody can change how you feel but you. EFT is a self-healing tool, so you can take the credit when you release the blocks that have held you back. So I encourage you to keep tapping away the layers of emotional and physical pain as you fully embrace your true self. You got this.